That was the most unprofessional beginning to the show ever. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Niner Faithful. How's everybody doing? Hope everyone is having a legendary day. Oh, we're counting away. The Niners just announced today the opening training camps. So I don't want to speak on which ones we're going to, but I know. Well, at least the ones I plan to go to. We'll see if I can get the tickets. I know it was a hassle a lot last year to get tickets. Thanks, babe. So, we have a special in studio guest today that wishes to remain off camera. I don't know why, because she's really beautiful. But anyway, today we're going to get into Niner quarterbacks and running backs, and of course, getting into some Niner news. We have actually a passing of a former Niner to talk about that's pretty sad. But before we get started with all that, we of course got to remind you to listen to the end of the show to get your special coupon code to save 10% off of For the Faithful by the Faithful Season 2 apparel, exclusively available at NinerFaithfulRadio.com/shop. Help out Niner Faithful Radio by using our shop49ers.com affiliate link and save 10%. All you have to do is click on the link in the description of the podcast or video. And also go to SeatGiant.com and use the promo code Niner Faithful Radio to save on all theater, concert, and sporting event tickets, as well as help out the show. Go to NinerFaithfulRadio.com/subscribe to see everywhere you can subscribe to the show. And, of course, follow us on social media at Niner Faithful Radio on Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr, and at Niner Faithful R on Twitter. Ladies and gentlemen, faithful of all ages, let's get the show cracking.
You are now listening to Niner Faithful Radio, the show for the faithful, by the faithful.
Okay, and we're back. I almost got it all done before we got back, but pretty damn close. I'm actually kind of proud of myself. Anyway, so like I said, we have some Niner news to talk about. Just refresh, make sure there's no other news. Yeah, no. Unfortunately, the Niners have to announce the passing of former San Francisco 49ers cornerback Jimmy Williams, who passed away on Friday, July 8th, 2022, at the age of 43. The 49ers mourn the passing of alumni Jimmy Williams. Our organization sends its condolences to his wife, Chandler, and his entire Williams family. Originally drafted by the Buffalo Bills in the 2001 NFL Draft, Williams played his first 4 seasons in the NFL with San Francisco, where he registered 88 tackles, 6 passes defensed, and an interception. Jimmy Williams also notched 1,030 kick return yards, 576 punt return yards, and 1 touchdown during that span. In 2002, yeah, I almost used to saying 2020, 2002, he led the league with 16.8 yards per punt return. Williams joined the Seahawks in 2005 and played the last 2 seasons in Seattle, where he was a special teams captain. During his time with the Seahawks, he played in the Super Bowl 40 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He retired in 2006, finishing his career with 115 tackles, 3 interceptions, 13 pass breakups. That same year, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame at Baton Rouge Episcopal, his high school alma mater. He returned to Episcopal in 2011 as a teacher and coach, and most recently served as defensive coordinator and assistant athletics director. Born Jimmy Ray Williams in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, he attended the University of Vanderbilt University, where he played for the Commodores from 1997 through 2000. In 2013, Williams was named an SEC football legend, and is one of 3 Vanderbilt players to have both a punt return and a kick return for a touchdown. Actually, remember, it was going to be him and Ahmad Plummer were going to be the Niner quarterbacks of the future. I remember when he played for us, but yeah, it was going to be him and Jimmy Williams and Ahmad Plummer. I actually had a Ahmad Plummer jersey, actually. We got a watcher on Twitch. Nice. Well, hello, watcher on Twitch. Next. That sounded kind of cold and heartless, huh? Like, next. The Niners have finalized their on-air talent ahead of the 2022 season. The San Francisco 49ers announced today, July 7th, the extension of Greg Papa, the team's notorious radio voice, through the 2028 NFL season. Additionally, the franchise has announced the hiring of new team reporter Lindsay Palares. It took me a while to get that one. Let me see. Palares is a California native and is seasoned in the world of sports reporting. She recently served as a weekend sports anchor for Fox 40 in Sacramento, covering the Warriors 2022 title run. After graduating from UCLA, Palares served as a sports director for KKCO TV in Colorado, covering the 2016 and 2017 Winter Games in Aspen. The role also provided her with a chance to get familiar with Levi Stadium during her coverage of the Denver Broncos' participation in Super Bowl 50 played in Santa Clara. Palares had previously worked for WBay TV in Green Bay 2017 through 2019, which involved regularly traveling to follow and cover the Green Bay Packers, and Fox Sports San Diego 2019 to 2020, where she served as digital reporter for the San Diego Padres and San Diego State University football and basketball. The opportunity is a combination of many years of hard work and tremendous amount of support from my friends, family, and mentors, said News 49ers team reporter Lindsay Palares. I'm so thrilled to continue my career as the team reporter for the San Francisco 49ers, a storied franchise in my home state. That sounded very generic. Something tells me she probably won't be here long. Let me see. Okay, so we're going to get into the running backs and all that, but before we do that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick 3-minute Twitch commercial. So for those who are listening to the podcast or watching on Facebook or YouTube, you'll be able to see me. Are you watching, babe? Oh. Maybe you're the one viewer then. Let me see. Nope. It's coming through. It's not even registering that you're viewing. That's weird. That's really weird. Oh, happy birthday, Angie. So, actually, also, special announcement. Bubby made it official the other week. Your boy will be in Empowered Field, is what they call it, right? Empowered Field in Denver, Colorado, September 25th, watching the Niners getting that ass against the Denver Broncos. It's my anniversary present. Our anniversary is the 2nd, but I told her that it's perfectly okay if my anniversary present is the 25th when it's Niner tickets. And it's okay to come a little bit late if it's Niner season tickets too. Yeah. Anyway. Oh wait, maybe it's registering you now. It is. Hi, Bubby. She's kind of getting irritated at me because she doesn't like that I draw attention to her. All right, where are we at on the Twitch commercial? A minute and 37 seconds. Okay, let me see. So we got some by number stuff that's actually pretty cool. We also got rookie training camp breakdown. We're gonna start with running backs. I have it set up to talk about quarterbacks first, but we're gonna talk about quarterbacks or running backs first. Let me see, where's the running back little thingy? Yeah. Okay. Here we go. We got 2022 rookies. We're gonna need to do one for Drake Jackson. Where is it? Okay. Are we back from Twitch yet? 36 seconds. Okay. Can you still see me on Facebook? It's on the side. Let me see. Ooh, I look so handsome. Somebody's been doing their push-ups. Okay, so we got 17, 15, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, so I've made an audible, and we're going to talk about Niner running backs first. We're going to save quarterbacks for last. So overall, let me go ahead and read this real quick. We have Jordan Mason. In 2021, Mason closed his collegiate career with 2,349 rushing yards, good for 11th most in Georgia Tech history, and caught 10 passes for 85 yards and a touchdown. In May, Mason agreed with terms with the 49ers to become an undrafted free agent. Okay, where is he? Right here. Doesn't say anything on his biography. Does it maybe say college stuff? Maybe he didn't play, so let's try 2020. Okay, no. So, I mean, he's 5'11", 223 pounds. From everything I heard, he's a fast. He's the speedster of the group. I think that we have. Oh, okay, I thought we had a comment. Obviously, we know this team's history and success with undrafted running backs, so he is somebody to keep your eyes on. Ideally, would love for him to get to the practice squad because, as I was just thinking when I was preparing for the show, we kept 4 running backs last year. We currently have, I'll look at it right now. We currently have, I thought it was 7, 2, 4, 6 running backs right now. So to even get to the numbers that we were at last year, we got to cut 2 running backs off top. So you have Tyron, TDP, JaMycal Hasty, Jordan Mason, Elijah Mitchell, Trey Sermon, and Jeff Wilson Jr. You're obviously going to keep Elijah Mitchell. TDP is going to make this team. So that leaves JaMycal Hasty, Jordan Mason, Trey Sermon, and Jeff Wilson Jr. fighting for 2 spots. I would like to think Jeff Wilson Jr. gets a spot. So that leaves Trey Sermon, JaMycal Hasty, and Jordan Mason fighting for a roster spot. Ultimately, I think JaMycal Hasty has had too many fumbling issues. I think that this is the year that makes it the team. I think they gave it to Trey Sermon. I think they give it to Trey Sermon just because I think you can keep Jordan Mason on the practice squad. So ultimately, our running backs going into the season, I think, are going to be Elijah Mitchell, Jeff Wilson Jr., TDP, and Trey Sermon. And then obviously Kyle Juszczyk being the 5th running back, but only fullback. They'll probably count it as a running back, but it'll be a fullback. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and break down each player individually. TDP was the first 2 third-round draft picks in 2022, 93rd overall, selected by the 49ers in this year's draft. He appeared in 36 games, 16 starts, in 3 years at Louisiana State, or LSU as most people know it, 2019 through 2021, and registered 379 carries for 1,744 rushing yards, 15 touchdowns to go along with 18 receptions for 185 yards. I know a lot of people have been looking and saying this is basically Trey Sermon 2.0 and have looked as this is a bad sign for Trey Sermon to make the roster. Now, I don't want to say he's guaranteed to make the roster because he's not. I just think he'll come in better shape, or not better shape, but he'll be better in 2022. I just think that we want to be better in short yardage. Short yardage was an issue last year. There was too many 4th and 1s, 3rd and 1s that we got stopped on. There's just was way too many. Let me see. Actually, I want to look it up right now. 3rd down, 3rd and short conversion rate. Let me see if I can get it right now. No, that's not quite what I'm looking for. Oh shit. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I actually should have looked this down, but I was hoping that would give me better rankings 2021. Okay, let me see. This isn't 3rd and short. I'm specifically looking for my distance to go. Okay, here we go. The Niners. Oh, this is college. Man, this is horrible radio. NFL. Okay, let me see if this will be what I'm looking for. Or the Niners. No, it's just normal conversion rate. I'm looking for. Let me see. If I can't get it. If I can't get it these next 2 ones, then I'll give up. Okay. Let me see. I know we were horrible on 3rd down, but I'm looking specifically for where we ranked. Yeah, no. Okay, I can't find it. Okay, let me see. Yeah, no, I can't find it, man. That sucks. Okay, here we go. It's on the 2nd page. Okay, so 3rd down by distance. Oh wow, site can't provide a Okay, 49ers are being killed by poor 3rd down execution. Yeah, anyway, okay, so we all know 3rd down conversions was poor in 2022. This is passing. This is rushing, receiving. Yeah, no. This is here we go. Overall downs. Here we go. So games rush, pass total, attempt made percentage. So here we go. Percentage, the Niners ranked Oh, actually, it wasn't that bad. I must have really improved over the year, 40.2%. But I think that basically what I'm trying to get by saying all this and trying to look up that stat is that the Niners got killed on 3rd and short. And I think that they hopefully Kyle realized that we're not trying to turn Trey into our 3rd down back. That's how he hurt his knee. That's essentially what they tried to do to him against Arizona. And so these are obviously things that Kyle's now had an offseason to see, and talking to Trey and working with him, and it'll develop over the course of this year and hopefully years to come. But I think you're seeing with the physical and the bigger backs that we're getting, the more short area quickness, short yardage explosion. He didn't draft TDP to give you 80-yard touchdown runs like Raheem Mostert. He drafted TDP to get you 10 yards on 3rd and 2. And, beat some people up. And what I'm really looking forward to, especially, and this onus won't strictly be on Jeff Wilson Jr. this year, is the physicality. You saw that with Elijah Mitchell. You've seen that with a lot of our running backs. Is, you know what, the first quarter, you want to tackle him, but by the 3rd and 4th quarter, you're not trying to tackle him. And as the year wears on and teams get more and more tired with the depth that we're hopefully able to have at running back, I think that this is going to play dividends in the year. I've said all offseason, this is a team that I'm saying, hey, don't bury yourself like you did in 2021, because I don't think that we could dig ourselves out of a hole like we did last year. But if we can stay afloat 500, a game or two above 500, until, we get that later in the schedule when we have the 3 home games in a row. And I believe it's after like Atlanta, we don't leave the West Coast. When those things start to take advantage and pay dividends towards the end of the year, especially having a later round bye this year, I think it's definitely going to be beneficial. I'm going to have to actually look up when we give our predictions. I'm curious how many teams we're playing, later in the year that had their bye weeks early or later than us. So this is definitely a team that I want to see. I don't think we're going to reach our peak early in the season. I've admitted that I'm a little nervous about Denver, but I don't think 3-0 is out of the possibility. But we'll get into that later. Okay, JaMycal Hasty, we already talked about him. I don't really see him being on the team, maybe sticking around practice squad, but not somebody I foresee. We talked about Jordan Mason. Elijah Mitchell, what's to say? The man set a franchise rookie rushing record was 963 yards. Pro Football Focus ranked him the running back in the top 25 of their list of most elusive running backs in the 2021 after totaling 37 forced missed tackles and averaging 0.179 forced missed tackles per attempt. And 79.4% of Mitchell's total yardage came after contact. Like I've been saying, you want to tackle him in the first quarter, but you don't want to tackle him in the second, third, and fourth quarter. Trey Sermon, we've already talked about him. I'm looking for a big year for Trey Sermon because I think 2 things can be true. Was TDP drafted as Trey Sermon insurance? Yes, I do. I do think that is. He was. But I think if Trey Sermon comes out, if it's tied, I think they're going to give it to Trey Sermon. TDP has to prove that he's better than Trey Sermon to pass him on the pecking order. So, and even if one starts over, one gets buried on the bench or whatever, when the year comes, when it comes later into the year, having a healthy running back that hasn't taken a lot of carries all year is going to be very beneficial. He'll be fresher, especially a physical type of running back. I think that the Niners, I believe, are trying to build to be the type of football team that, hey, we float. We're, we'll keep our head above water the beginning of the season. But once November, December hits and it's go time, that's when this team is going to reach its peak. We already talked about TDP. We talked about Jermichael Hasty. We talked about Elijah Mitchell, who I love. I think Elijah Mitchell gets over 1,000 yards. I think Elijah Mitchell, go ahead and leave in the comments what you think. But I think Elijah Mitchell becomes the first running back under Kyle Shanahan to lead the team in rushing yards back-to-back years. He's had a different leading rusher every year since he's been here. I think this is the year that it ends. I think Elijah Mitchell will lead the team in rushing yards this season. Talked about Trey Sermon. We talked about Jeff Wilson Jr. is another intriguing name that if everybody shows up and, is in great shape and hitting the holes and doing the things that the coaches like and the way the coaches like them, Jeff Wilson Jr. can find himself on the practice squad or on another roster. And I don't like that because I love Jeff Wilson. I love Hefe. I love him. I was at that. No, I wasn't at the Arizona. Was I at the Arizona game? No, I wasn't at the Arizona game. My bad. I was not at the Arizona game when or was I? I can't remember if I was at that Arizona game or not. But I love Hefe. I think that he's another running back. Then in the first quarter, you don't want to tackle. Become the third or fourth quarter. It's just, man, I really see if the Niners can get leads this year, I don't see the Niners blowing a lead. If we can play 49er football. I say we go into halftime with the lead this year. I dare say we might be undefeated just because the type of football we want to play is a type of football that Kyle Shanahan wants to play when you're playing with the lead. And I think that we could trust that Kyle and John Lynch, that Lynchahan know how to build a roster and that their plan works. I think that their roster plan, their idea of, hey, this is how we want to be a football team. I mean, let's be real. Start to finish, we were the best team in 2019. It's just we weren't the best football team for 8 minutes. Weren't the best football team in the most important game, and it cost us a championship. Okay, moving on. We talked about Jeff Wilson. Fullback is, let's be real. It's going to be Juice, the man who's made the Pro Bowl. Much respect, Josh Hokett. Love to keep him on the practice squad, as a down the road replacement for Juice. I believe it's next year his contract gets a little bit dicey. So definitely, I have no problem with keeping Josh Hokett on the practice squad, or maybe even converting him to tight end, or however you want to manipulate it, to get him on the roster if you don't think he'll make it to the practice squad. But Juice is a real deal. And honestly, until Juice is ready to retire or shows a significant decline in his play, I don't see a reason to not to keep him in red and gold. Honestly. Now we will get to the most intriguing position of the Niners, and that's quarterback. And the reason I say quarterback is a lot of the conversation I'm about to have right now doesn't even necessarily dictate really to the quarterback or the starter or anybody. And that's with Jimmy. Now, obviously, over the last couple of days, we've had plenty of rumors about Jimmy. He's going to be traded to Houston. He's going to be traded to the Seahawks. Dave Lombardi has some great videos just breaking it down with logic. And that's why I like Dave Lombardi is he says the rumor, he talks about it. You know, he doesn't hide from anything, but like he breaks it down in such a logical way that makes sense. And this man covers the Niners for a living. This is his job, is to cover this football team. You know, I'm sure he has maybe not Kyle or John Lynch's number, but he has people's in the front office or with the Niners number. Like he could text some people to get some answers if he really wanted to. So I believe that the Seahawks had to do their due diligence. And yeah, it makes sense that the Niners don't want to let Jimmy walk this shit out for nothing. But really, the Seahawks aren't going to trade for him because the Niners are going to ask a too high a price. And the Seahawks are really going to sit there and say, let's be real, they're not a playoff team. They're not a Jimmy Garoppolo away from even being a playoff team this year. I mean, so my thing about it is, why would they trade whatever the Niners ask, second, third, a third and a fourth, third and fifth, whatever the Niners ask for Jimmy Garoppolo from the Seahawks? Why would they trade that? They're going nowhere this year, and they could sign him as a free agent next year. Really, honestly, why would anybody trade? At least any of the trade. The only reliable, real talk team I say could have a legit answer is the Browns, depending on what happens with Deshaun Watson. Which, if you're the Browns, are you going to drive up the trading price with yourself? I mean, what are the Niners willing to eat Jimmy's salary this year just to not let him walk and sign somewhere else for free? Are we willing to pay 24 point something million for just to get a 6th round pick back? When I understand we can fit it under cap this year. Yeah, well, what about next year when Jimmy Ward becomes a free agent? And that's something that nobody seems to be talking about. Everybody wants to talk about Debo and Nick Bosa, and rightfully so. But, dude, let's not forget how important Jimmy Ward is to this defense. And it's honestly starting to piss me off. Because I'm worried Jimmy Ward walking from the Niners. Because they just don't have players like that in the draft that will draft high enough to get. I understand he was taken number 30th overall. But Jimmy Wards just don't grow on trees. So could that $24 million go to signing Jimmy Ward next year? Yeah, it could. Roll it over next year, and that would help significantly. I don't see how the Niners aren't just so strapped with cash, and I understand that the cap's going to go up, but the Niners aren't just so strapped for cash that they could just ignore $27 million. Not when you have to pay Nick Bosa. Not when you're going to have to pay Debo, assuming that doesn't come this year. Fred Warner's going to get more expensive. George Kittle's going to get more expensive. Trent Williams is going to get more expensive. Eventually, you're going to, now, obviously, I don't think you're going to talk about after next offseason, Trey getting a contract, but soon you're going to have to sign Trey Lance. Brandon Ayuk's going to come up on a contract after this year. What are you going to do with Mike McGlinchey? What's the long-term answer at center? These are all things that are going to come up with this team next offseason. That, yeah, we need to start planning for now. And I trust that they have a plan. I'm not saying that, but, I mean, I understand the attitude of picking pass rush over coverage. So, hey, we'd rather play Nick Bosa, go get a street free agent, boost up the D line and spend our money, elsewhere, especially with the draft capital that we do spend on the D line every year. And, we could live without Jimmy Ward. But to me, it's like, why would you want to do that? I understand if you have to choose between Nick Bosa and Jimmy Ward, of course you're going to choose Nick Bosa. Or I would choose Nick Bosa. I would choose Fred Warner over Jimmy Ward. Azeez Al-Shaair, Dre Greenlaw. They're going to have to come up on new contracts this year. I understand we're not going to be able to probably keep both of them, but you're going to want to keep one of them. We have the best linebacking core in the NFL. We saw what during Harbaugh years, what having the best front seven in the NFL did for this franchise. Why would we want to give that up? We have that again. We have one of the best. I would say, yeah, I would definitely say. I mean, leave me your thoughts in the comments if you disagree with me. But name me another team that has a better front seven than Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead. Okay, we're assuming, let's just say Javon Kinlaw and Kerry Hyder, Fred Warner, Azeez Al-Shaair, and Dre Greenlaw. Name me a better front seven than that in the NFL. You're not going to get a better D line than that. Maybe the Colts have an argument. Colts, maybe Kamara. Or not Kamara. Davis. So I don't see us giving that up. Now, I understand you can't pay everybody and everything like that, but I'll be okay with saying, hey, we reinvested in Charvarius Ward. We'll let Jimmy walk, have Talanoa Hufanga and draft some player. Okay, fine. And we're going to make sure that we have the best front seven in the NFL. We believe that's more sustainable than having the best D-line, one great linebacker, and one great secondary player. I'm okay with that. But $24 million would help with doing that. So whatever your plan is in the future, I just don't see how $24 million. Fine, you want to eat the $7 million, $8 million, $10 million, and make it $14 million. I just don't see how any money that we could possibly roll over until next year's cap is not going to help us keep this football team together. Because the time is now. I understand that this year might be a year of flux because, we're integrating Trey. But next year, and damn sure by 2024, I expect this the no more 6 and 10s. There's no this will be a competitive year after year playoff team. Shit, I would even say next year I would expect that. This year I expect to compete, probably get in. Next year I expect to be in. So I'm not trying to have to rebuild a secondary and everything in the middle of what really, let's be real, what's the best way to win a Super Bowl now in the modern NFL? Get a rookie quarterback on a rookie deal, or a quarterback on a rookie deal, and build the best football team around him. That means we have probably until about 2020, the end of 2024 to do that. That's 22, 23, and 24. That's 3 seasons where we could probably build the best football team around Trey before we start having to make some decisions when Trey gets a little expensive, hopefully. So it has to be made. Jimmy has to be going. He cannot be on this roster past August 30th or August 29th. August 29th will be has to be the last day of Jimmy Garoppolo being on the San Francisco 49ers roster. I mean, we obviously have Trey. He's going to be the starter. I think. Do I think Trey's going to be the next Joe Montana? No, probably not. Do I think that he could develop into a quarterback where we say, hey, we have a shot every game, every year because we got Trey Lance? Yeah, I believe he can get to that. That's probably his upside, his ceiling. I think his floor is a quarterback, is basically what we got in Jimmy Garoppolo, which is a quarterback that's going to make some errant throws, make some head scratching plays, but can do some things and keep you in some ball games and make some throws and win you a couple games with the added element of being mobile. So I don't think Trey Lance is going to be a bust in the sense where he's, oh my God, he's garbage. He doesn't even belong in the league. Now, will he be a top tier elite quarterback? That's to remain seen. I do think it's okay to say, I don't know. Can we at least wait a year to find out, or at least to have some reasons on why or why not? Besides some college games, really 1 season of college and 2 NFL games to judge a quarterback on. I think you can make some judgments and see why you could be hopeful. I'll tell you some of them. I like how Trey looked like garbage the first half against Houston. He looked better. He got progressively better in that game. Now, fine, it was the Texans, whatever. But you saw him get better right before your eyes. And we haven't seen him since, but there's nothing to say that that any reports I've heard from anybody reliable that I don't know, like Matt Maiocco or Matt Barrows or Dave Lombardi or any of the teams that are around this team every day. I haven't heard any reports from them that Trey's just, oh my God, he's regressed. I'm excited to go to training camp this year. I'm really excited to go to camp this year and see what Trey can do. Now why I said intriguing besides the whole Jimmy Garoppolo scenario saga, which obviously will eventually come to an end, is a battle between Nate Sudfeld and Brock Purdy. Now I know a lot of people say, look at the guaranteed money that Nate Sudfeld got, and it always feels weird talking about a backup quarterback battle. Because let's be real, neither one of these quarterbacks we hope ever touch the field. Well, I shouldn't say that. Hopefully it's the Niners so far ahead that Trey gets pulled, i.e. Jimmy against Carolina in 2019. I think that it'll take a lot for Kyle to play his players. But okay, so Brock Purdy was selected as Mr. Irrelevant, round 7 pick overall, 262 of this year's draft out of Iowa State between 2018 and 2021. The quarterback completed 993 of 1,447 67 attempts for 12,170 yards and 81 touchdowns. Purdy also added 365 carries for 1,117 yards, 19 touchdowns on the ground as a Cyclone. I mean, to me, that seems a better backup to Trey Lance. If you talk about how you don't want to have to change your whole playbook if you have to start your backup, and I understand he's not as mobile as Trey or anything like that, but at least some type of, bootleg, some type of similar plays that you can run. Because this football team is not centered around Trey Lance yet. Trey's job this year is just not getting in the way. That's Trey's job. Trey's job is to trust Kyle, get the ball to where Kyle says to get it to, and in the event Kyle's wrong or some shit happens, do some things to not make it a disaster. And even with luck, I shouldn't say luck, but with some consistency, turn chicken salad out of chicken shit, for a lack of better word. That is Trey's job this year. Brock Purdy, I think, could do that. Now, not at the level of Trey Lance, I hope, but I mean, we saw this. What was it? It's like Dan Marino and Patrick Mahomes were the only players left with more passing yards than Nick Mullins through a certain amount of games in his career or something. Some ridiculous thing like that. That's like, okay, bro. I mean, if Kyle could get that out of Nick Mullins, and I'm not saying that Brock Purdy is better than Nick Mullins. I don't know. But he's got some college pedigree to him. And I would dare say more experience, at least in college, than Trey Lance. So this is definitely an intriguing battle. Niners only cut 2 quarterbacks last year. Ultimately, I think the Niners choose Brock Purdy. Or Nate Sudfeld and Brock Purdy gets to the practice squad. Ultimately, how I think it's going down this year. All right, y'all. Well, that would be our wrap up. Next week, we'll get into linebackers and D-line. That's going to be fun and exciting. But before we let y'all go today, we got to remind everybody to help out Niner Faithful Radio by using our shop49ers.com affiliate link and save 10%. All you have to do is click on the link in the description of the video or podcast. Go to SeatGiant.com, use the promo code Niner Faithful Radio to save on all your theater, concert, and sporting event tickets, as well as help out the show. Go to NinerFaithfulRadio.com/subscribe to see everywhere you can subscribe to the show, and follow us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr at Niner Faithful Radio, and on Twitter at Niner Faithful R. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in this week. Thank you to my special in-studio guest for looking so sexy. I shall see y'all next week. Till then, faith, love, and happiness. Go Niners.
You are now listening to Niner Faithful Radio, the show for the faithful, by the faithful.
See ya.